we're gonna have a short conversation about these Foresters and the replacement engines that I'm getting, including my silver Forester back there. I have 4 of these Foresters that are reportedly using some oil. Now, that downright shoots my balloon out of the sky, because the reason why I'm replacing these engines is because they were oil burners, and either they're just insane oil burners or they burned up all the oil and they're knocking. So that's the reason why I'm buying these cars and putting engines in them, because the Series 2 FB25 isn't supposed to use like the Series 1 FB25 and those Foresters from 2011 through 13 did. So currently I'm at a loss. I'm doing my own research and trying to figure out what's causing this oil usage. At first I was thinking maybe because the engines that I'm getting are coupled to CVTs, they've been broken in at a different RPM, like cruising speed. You know, like a CVT, you might cruise 60, 70 mile an hour, you might be under 2,000 RPMs, where now cruising speed 70 mile an hour, you're at 25, 2,600 RPMs. I thought maybe that's it, but I just really wouldn't think so. Another thing that I thought of is a PCV valve. But one of these engines that's reportedly using some oil, we installed a new PCV valve when we replaced the engine. So I don't feel like that could be it, at least not on that one. Another thing is, could have bad rings on the ones I'm getting. I mean, they could have been oil burners before I got them. But one of those engines had 36,000 miles on it when I got it. And that's one of my videos, the blue Forester with the 36,000 mile engine. And I asked my friend about it, and he said, well, I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to feel bad, but yeah, it just uses some oil. I'm like, what? It's unreal. It's not supposed to use any oil. That's the whole purpose of this. Again, it just kind of shoots my balloon out of the sky. So then I come back to, since they're such fresh engines, a lot of them I get are under 100,000. They shouldn't be using any oil. Could it be that the valve stem seals are hard or brittle or cracked or something? And I'm kind of leaning towards that. I'm going to do my own research on my silver Forester. I've run some seafoam in the oil a couple of times to clean it up, thinking that maybe the oil rings were stuck. And it just seems so far to still be using some oil. I just changed the oil, and I'm going to monitor it. I put 020 synthetic in there. I don't think that there's going to be much difference running 020 to 530 synthetic. I really don't think it's going to be that critical of a difference. So I'm running 020 because that's probably what the previous owners were running in it. So I want to try to mimic as closely as possible what was in there for oil. I'm going to run this without any additives, and I'm going to see what happens. And if I'm still using some oil, I'm going to put some ATP 205 seal rejuvenator product in there. And I'm going to see if that makes a difference. If that makes a difference, then I know I've got an internal leak somewhere, probably my valve stem seals. It would really suck if every time I got one of these used engines, I had to pull the heads apart and reseal the valve stems. That would really suck. I mean, if that's what it takes, I'll do it. But, 8 of these engines so far have not reported any oil consumption issues. 4 out of 12. But it should be 0 out of 12. So you need to know that, because all my videos are of this is the fix, this is the fix, this is the fix. Yes, this is how you install a later series FB25 into an earlier series Forester application. But you may still have some issues depending on where you get your engine, how long your engine has been sitting in the salvage yard, I imagine would make a difference on the seals getting brittle and cracking. But if you read through the comments on my videos, you will see that there are other issues that arise as you do this swap. And it's just, every car has a story, man. Every car has a story. That silver car, it has a severe wobble, I want to call it, between 15 and 25 miles per hour, and it continues, but not as severely, as you accelerate. And it's mainly as you accelerate, but I'm noticing now that it's even when I'm just cruising, it's gotten worse. I replaced the drive shaft, I replaced the front CV axles, and I have no play in my lower ball joints, my outer tie rods. Everything's tight. I took it to a local shop and I said, hey, you're really good at diagnosing wobbles and shakes. Can you help me out? This is what I've done, and I'm not sure what to do. They said, well, we ran it. We noticed it. We had it on the hoist. We checked everything we normally check. We ran it on the lift, and we just can't find anything wrong with it. So I'm just knocking my head against the wall on this thing. And I feel like it might be an engine balance issue. It almost feels like the engine isn't perfectly lined up with the torque converter, because at low speeds, lower RPMs, it really does a shudder thing. And then as you rev it up, it kind of subsides some, but you can still tell that it's there. So I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do or how I'm gonna figure that out, but it's driving me nuts. It's not wheels, it's not tires. I've tried different wheels on it. I've rotated the wheels around and balanced the wheels. It's nothing to do with the wheels. So stay tuned. I'll probably make a video of that later. But to circle back, you never know what you're going to get for a used engine, and I'm still trying to figure out why I'm using some oil. Any thoughts? Please leave me a thought in the comment. If you have any issues with this after you've done your swap, I'd like to know about it too. Thanks, guys.